Of the seven wonders of the ancient world, only one remains a complete enigma. The Great Pyramid stands tall, and we have ruins of the others, but the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. They exist only in words, paintings, and our collective imagination. For centuries, they've been described as a paradise on earth, a breathtaking mountain of lush greenery and cascading waterfalls rising from the barren Mesopotamian plain. But was this incredible wonder ever real? Or is it merely a beautiful, persistent myth? Join us as we journey back in time, sifting through ancient texts and modern archaeology to uncover the truth behind the legend of the Hanging Gardens. The story begins around 600 BC with the powerful Neo-Babylonian king, Nebuchadnezzar II. Legend tells us he built the gardens for his homesick wife, Majesty. She hailed from the green, mountainous lands of Media, and the flat, sun-baked landscape of Babylon made her heart ache for home. To soothe her, Nebuchadnezzar supposedly commanded the construction of an architectural marvel, terraced ziggurat, or pyramid-like structure, covered in a spectacular array of trees, shrubs, and flowers, a verdant mountain in the middle of the desert. Ancient writers like the Greek historian Herodotus visited Babylon, yet surprisingly, he never mentions the gardens. It's later Greek and Roman authors, writing centuries after the gardens supposedly withered, who give us the most vivid descriptions. Writers like Strabo and Diodorus Siculus painted a picture of vaulted terraces, one on top of the other, filled with earth deep enough for the largest trees to take root. They described exotic plants from across the empire, creating a fragrant, shady oasis for the royal court. The most incredible part, an elaborate system of pumps, perhaps using a revolutionary screw-like device, supposedly lifted water from the nearby Euphrates River to the very top, creating artificial streams that watered the entire structure. Imagine the engineering prowess required. This wasn't just a garden, it was a hydraulic miracle, a defined symbol of human power over nature. These descriptions are intoxicating, painting a picture of unparalleled beauty and ingenuity. They fueled the imaginations of artists and poets for millennia. We see the gardens depicted in countless paintings, always grand, always romantic, always green. But that's the problem. These accounts are second-hand, written by people who never saw the gardens themselves. They were repeating stories passed down through generations. And when archaeologists began excavating the ancient city of Babylon in what is now modern-day Iraq, they hit a wall. For over a century, teams of archaeologists have scoured the ruins of Babylon. They've unearthed Nebuchadnezzar's massive palace, the famous Ishtar Gate, and the foundations of the city's towering ziggurat. They found countless cuneiform tablets, the clay records of the Babylonians, detailing everything from grain rations to royal decrees. And in all these records, there is not a single mention of the Hanging Gardens, nothing. It's a deafening silence from the very people who supposedly built and maintained this wonder. How could such a monumental, resource-intensive project leave no trace in the meticulous records of the Babylonian Empire? This absence of evidence is the primary argument for those who believe the gardens are a myth. So, if the gardens weren't in Babylon, where did the story come from? A compelling alternative theory points us 300 miles north, to the rival city of Nineveh, the capital of the mighty Assyrian Empire. Here, another powerful king, Sennacherib, ruled about a century before Nebuchadnezzar, and unlike his Babylonian counterpart, Sennacherib was a braggart. His palace walls are covered in inscriptions boasting of his achievements. And one of them is particularly interesting. Sennacherib describes the construction of a palace that was a wonder for all peoples. He talks about planting a botanical garden, a man-made mountain with all kinds of aromatic plants and fruit trees from across his empire. Most importantly, he details a massive system of canals and aqueducts, stretching over 50 miles, to bring water to the city and his gardens. He even boasts about using a new bronze water-raising screw, matching the descriptions of the device supposedly used in Babylon. Archaeological evidence in Nineveh backs this up. The ruins of a vast aqueduct system are still visible today, and reliefs from Sennacherib's palace clearly depict a lush, terraced garden on a hill, irrigated by water from an aqueduct. Could it be that the story of the Hanging Gardens is real, but it was simply misplaced? Dr. Stephanie Daly from Oxford University championed this theory. She suggests that when Assyria conquered Babylon, Nineveh was sometimes referred to as the New Babylon. Over time, as the stories were passed down by Greek historians who may not have been familiar with the region's complex geography and history, the two cities became confused. The magnificent gardens of Sennacherib in Nineveh were mistakenly attributed to Nebuchadnezzar in Babylon. It's a fascinating theory that neatly ties the mythical descriptions to actual archaeological evidence. But what if the truth is somewhere in between? Perhaps the gardens in Babylon did exist, but on a much smaller scale than the legend suggests. They might have been a series of simple rooftop gardens or planted courtyards within the palace complex. Beautiful, yes, but not the mountain-sized wonder of legend. Such a garden might not have been considered grand enough to warrant a mention in official royal records, but could have still been impressive enough to travelers to spark the stories that grew over time. Like a game of historical telephone, a lovely royal garden could have been embellished with each retelling, until it transformed into one of the 7 wonders of the world. Ultimately, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon remain shrouded in mystery. Was it a real, colossal marvel in Babylon that has simply been lost to time? Was it a magnificent, well-documented garden in Nineveh, its story later transplanted to its more famous rival city? Or was it just a beautiful, poetic fabrication, a legend born from the human desire to imagine a perfect paradise on earth? The lack of a definitive answer is perhaps what makes the story so enduring. It allows the Hanging Gardens to live on in the one place they can never be eroded by time: our imagination. A testament to a dream of green in a land of sand. What do you think? Did the Hanging Gardens truly exist? And if so, where? Let us know your theories in the comments below. Thank you for joining us on this archaeological journey. If you enjoyed this exploration into the mysteries of the past, please give this video a like and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into history's greatest enigmas. We'll see you next time.